Hi, and welcome to The Real Dad Show. And as you know, I'm Jimmy, and today my special guest is my daughter Emily. And today's topic will be social anxiety. We'll be covering different types of topics throughout this series. So, Emily, what is social anxiety?
Social anxiety is an intense, irrational fear in social situations and being overly self-conscious when it isn't warranted.
How would you say social anxiety affects you in school or in your everyday life?
Social anxiety in school, when I meet people, when I get too much anxiety, I kind of avoid people solely because I don't want to be perceived as awkward. And when I do try to be around people, I do get very awkward and very distant, very aloof.
I see. I would say I feel the same way whenever I get into a new situation or I come upon people, new coworkers or wherever it may be. I feel awkward. I don't know what to say. Sometimes I want to say something. I don't know what to say. I start feeling nervous. And the more I'm in the situation, I start thinking that they're thinking negatively about me, or they're thinking that maybe I'm weird or awkward. And it gets so nerve-wracking that I kind of just want to avoid situations like that. I find that when I'm crossing the street at a stoplight, the cars that are waiting there, in my mind I start to walk stiff and uncomfortable because I feel like, oh, they're making fun of me, and they could just totally not even notice I'm there. When I come across some people laughing and they either get quiet, I just assume that they're laughing about me or talking about me. It makes me feel very uncomfortable in new situations. I try not even to leave the house to go buy groceries or go to the store until my wife gets home, so that she can go with me. I tend not to want to go anywhere unless I am with somebody who I feel comfortable with. Do you find yourself in those kind of situations?
Yeah, what people don't understand, it's a really intense fear in social situations. So you get really afraid of being around people to the point where you just kind of want to be alone to avoid either that fear or
Right.
just people thinking poorly of you.
How do you make friends? Do you have trouble making new friends?
Yes, I have found that I have a lot of trouble making new friends. Usually I stick to my friends I've already made. It's usually really difficult for me to make friends or even start conversations, let alone walk up to people and say hi. You know?
Right.
So it's really strange. It's just this naturalness of being awkward and very afraid.
It's weird. That's the way I felt in school when I was younger. We didn't know what social anxiety was, but then again, we didn't know a lot of other disorders. We didn't know what post-traumatic stress disorder was. We didn't know that much about autism. Just a lot of different ways and things that have happened. Nowadays, we're starting to understand them. Okay, you can just keep going.
Oh.
When I find that I'm coming across people that I do know, friends that I do know, I'm a lot more comfortable with them. But say they have a new friend or somebody that they're introducing me to, I feel awkward around that person now. I feel awkward about the friend that I'm with and the new person. It's something that really does affect me. I also notice that when I'm talking to people, even if I do know them or I don't, sometimes I run out of things to say, or I want to say something and I can't think of the word. Could be something simple like cake, and I just can't think of it.
Yeah.
Do you find that?
Yeah, I find that a lot. The other thing that I find really difficult is when I want to say something, and it's the most casual thing. It's normal. It's not embarrassing, but I find it embarrassing. I don't know, if I comment about your mail and I go, oh, you haven't checked your mail again, to me, I perceive that as, oh, what if they think I'm rude? Oh, what if they think I'm snobby? So it's kind of weird, some of the things I want to say, And then I don't say just because I have all these different situations in my head that could happen. And yeah.
Exactly. Do you ever just run upon different scenarios of just coming up and saying hi to somebody? What could this happen? Scenario 2, this could happen. You just start running through it. And do you ever just find yourself, oh, I'll just avoid it completely?
Yeah, a lot of times I just avoid people as much as I can when I get a lot of anxiety, just because I'm just so afraid of that intense fear.
Right.
Or just people thinking bad about me, because that's just kind of what anxiety is. It's just feeling afraid of.
How is your anxiety when you're around large groups?
When it's terrible. When I'm around large groups, like if we go to assembly at school or a field trip, I get so afraid because it's different, it's new, and there's a lot of people I don't know. So I think that's the perfect time for anxiety to really be fueled.
Right.
Because it's everything about anxiety we hate in one space.
How do you deal with your social anxiety?
I have trouble, I will admit. I have a lot of trouble dealing with my anxiety. But I do believe I have some coping skills. When I get really nervous with people in crowds, usually I try my best to disassociate by walking away, to kind of self-talk and walk myself through it. I have talked to a therapist, and she told me try grounding, so just reminding myself of what I think the scenario is, what I think is happening, what they're thinking of me, or what could be happening compared to reality. So just differentiating reality from what I think, what I perceive as real. And that's helped me a lot.
How would you say people perceive you because of your social anxiety? Or how do you think people are perceiving you?
People think I'm weird and awkward. I think because I'm trying so hard, they think it's fake. And realistically, I'm just trying so hard to get what I want to say out of my mouth without falling apart and melting into the floor. And it comes off as so fake. And I think when I meet new people, they think I don't like them. Because I'm trying my best to avoid eye contact and not talk to people, and they think, oh, she doesn't like me. And I'm over here like, please like me. So it's very weird.
Right. You know what I've noticed, or the feedback I've gotten, like say from my wife or a friend, that they've introduced me to maybe family members on their side or new friends or whatever. They've been told that I'm either shy or unfriendly, weird, because I don't talk. I tend to stay near the person that I know, like say my wife. I feel grounded being near them. They're like my safety blanket. So a lot of times they say, oh, he's just really unfriendly. And it's not that I'm unfriendly, it's just that I don't know what to say. I don't know how to join in the conversation, unless it's something that I really like. Like if they start talking about Harleys or Superman or, something, whatever. I know that topic, so I feel comfortable talking about that topic, and that'll draw me out. But when we just come into a conversation that's just, hi,
Yeah.
nice to meet you, now I don't know what to say next.
Yeah, you know what's the weirdest thing is when I get anxiety around new people and they ask me the way you said about something, or they talk about something I like, and not like try and get me into the conversation. I'll just pretend I don't like the subject so I don't have to talk to them. So those are the days when I really, really, really have a lot of anxiety. So they'll ask me like, oh, you like art? And I'll go, no, I hate art. Art is terrible. I will burn paint. They'll go, oh, okay, that's not, okay. Just so they won't talk to me.
One of the things that happens with me, like say work, I'll know one or two coworkers, and then I'll see them a ways away talking with a couple of people that they know, and they're having a great conversation and everything, and I feel like I want to go over there and talk to them. I want to be part of that conversation. but I feel like I'm not welcomed or I'm too uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I try to tell myself that's not it, just go over there and talk to them. But I just feel so nervous and
Yeah, like you're barging in on their
exactly,
conversation.
or that they're not gonna like me, or like they're thinking, oh, here comes the weird guy.
Yeah, or just kind of think you're really obnoxious, like I'm doing my own thing, but I'm gonna strut into your conversation.
Exactly.
You know?
And it makes me feel sad that I can't get myself to go over there and socialize. And I really wish I could. And sometimes it makes you feel really depressed and sad. So, what are the things that you've done to try to overcome your social anxiety?
One of the biggest steps I took was try my best at school or outside of school to do volunteering, take opportunities, any opportunity that would force me to be social.
Exactly.
I go to library on my own a lot, so there's naturally people. Obviously, it's a public space, so there's a lot of people there, especially on the weekends with children. So I just kind of forced myself to volunteer at the library, so I would be able to be at the library, and there were some benefits that came with it. But also, I would have to be forced to talk to people, so it helped me get used to talking to people and building those skills. And the other thing is, at school, I tried my best to sign up and be a part of a lot of clubs and groups. So when I signed up for drama, after school drama, yeah, any opportunity that was available for me, I took and forced myself to go, which was really difficult, very difficult to force yourself. But you know, I had it, and again, I had to remind myself, this isn't what reality is. This is just what I think, and it's so strong to me that I just think it's real. So just kind of force yourself to go out, which is really difficult, but you're gonna have to take any opportunity you can.
Sometimes forcing yourself into a situation can make it worse. I've known that personally. Some of the things that I've done is, you've noticed that I've started working outside the house. And the idea for me is to work from home. But I can't just be a hermit in the house. I had to find a job where I would be interacting with coworkers and normal people, everyday people. So that's one of the reasons why I took the job at the thrift store, so that I can work on the donation line. And I force myself to get out there when they come in with their cars. Hi, how are you doing? And you know, just small talk. And it's helped. Some of the other things, I became a Freemason so that I could volunteer at the school. You know, I was always there at your school doing different things, making speeches, and I could make myself stand up in front of a crowd and the spotlight and be nervous so that I can overcome that. And it helped a lot, but I noticed that once I stepped away from that activity, and I haven't done it for a while, the social anxiety comes back even stronger. Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, a lot of times, because for the most part, I either took something that was more job, kind of like a job, like I did with the library. So when people talk to me and they're asking me questions, I flip out. And these are questions I know,
Right.
but I'm too afraid to answer, and then I won't say anything. Question desk is over there. Or in the clubs I was in, drama, you have to get up on stage and perform. And that's, as somebody with anxiety, that's really difficult for me, because I have to get up and be theatrical and really make people think I'm outgoing. When my anxiety is like, you look stupid, you sound.
You tend to want to be the class clown.
Yeah.
You tend to want to be the popular one, so that people will automatically be friendly with you, and you don't have to try so hard. I've done that too.
Didn't work. It doesn't work. Don't try and put yourself in a situation where you think people are going to like you, like the popular crowd or a club that's really popular. Don't do that, because you're just getting your hopes up and forgetting that you do need to put the effort as in talking to people. It's not as simple as going to a club and now you have all these friends. It's difficult with anxiety, talking to people, but if you're willing to put in the work to overcome it, you can do it, because it's just you have a lot of anxiousness, and what I tried my best to do was use how anxious I was as energy to push forward.
Excellent. Today we know that social anxiety can affect pretty much anyone. It's not just a shut-in, it's not just people who are only children. It could be someone who grew up in a family of 10, 15, 12, 1, 2, 3. My family's big. I'm number 12 of 12 children. So there was always somebody around, but still, I grew up with social anxiety. What would you give advice to somebody who's struggling with social anxiety? How could they help themselves?
I do recommend therapy very
Yes.
much.
That's the first step, is therapy.
Always therapy, because you have all this scenarios of what could go wrong in your head, and you need to let that out. Otherwise, they stay there and keep nagging at you. So going to therapy really did help me.
It's also good to have a trained person who understands social anxiety to help you go through all this mess that's going on in your head and help you organize it and help you discuss what are some of the things that are making you anxious. Wouldn't you agree?
I do agree very
Excellent.
much.
Well, then again, thank you for joining us. I hope this topic was helpful to you. And as you can see, I'm suffering from social anxiety right now, but one of the things that I'm doing is this YouTube channel, forcing myself out there to talk. And I'm getting tongue-tied quite a bit. But thank you again. This is The Real Dad Show. My daughter, Emily. Don't forget to comment below if you have any questions for us regarding social anxiety, or you have any suggestions for future topics. Some of the stuff that we're going to be discussing is autism, surrogacy, and depression. And we'll have some guests on that too. So don't forget, once again, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the little bell for notifications so that you'll know every time we post something. Again, this is Jimmy with The Real Dad Show, and thank you for joining us.